welcome back everybody to another weekly outlook. Gonna be going through the premise of what price will be doing this week, what can we expect, what our touch points. We would be looking at price levels of very efficient delivery and setting up our roadmap for the week. So with that being said, we obviously have to first start out by seeing how our fundamentals are placed up this week. Then we'll move over to the technicals. Alright, so for this week we're gonna have an ordinary Monday where there isn't any form of volatility coming in from the US pairs, so that's a clean one. Come Tuesday, we do have jolts, job openings on Tuesday 10 a.m. Always prefer these 10 a.m. events, love them. Then essentially we're gonna be having on Wednesday, we're gonna have our FOMC, our interest rates, so the federal fund rate will be coming out. So there is talks of a basis cut to be happening, so we will be seeing what the result will be. So obviously if we see a base cut, we will definitely be seeing a lot of risk off on the elements of the equity side of things, right? Because we are currently sitting at 3.75. so if they do cut another 0.25 basis, we'll be sitting at an interest rate of 3.50. Then we'll see if they do keep it at the same amount or they do end up cutting rates. So Wednesday is gonna be a jam-packed day. Then essentially come Thursday we have our unemployment claims on Thursday, so be wary of that at 8:30. Then finally Friday, a clean day on Friday. So we should be expecting a lot of gradual movements Tuesday, Wednesday and Thursday. So these will be our big playing days for the week. Alright, so now with that being said, let's now jump into essentially our technicals and see what we have lined up for us. So with that being said, let's jump into our charts and look into what price did previously and where we'll be heading for the upcoming week. Right, so essentially last week our target, as I'd mentioned, was the 25,833 high here, which was the previous weekly high. So we saw price deliver efficiently right through it on Friday to create that high of the week, delivered into that volume imbalance that I spoke about in the previous weekly outlook. But you want to see price obviously close up that imbalance. That's why they target that previous weekly buy side external liquidity. So we still have a CB fair value gap that hasn't been offered as yet, so we'd also still be looking into price delivery towards that as well. So let's start doing markings for the week. So I'd have now this moved right here as the new previous weekly high, so I'd still be looking for ways to target that day. So that day will be our previous weekly high. Now we need to just mark out, so that will be at 25,866. 68 actually, it should be 68. I like the fact that we're still holding bodies above the previous weekly volume imbalance. So anticipation for higher prices, I will still be looking for anticipation for higher prices until we obviously get into that area where we should be seeing some sell-offs happening from there, right? We do essentially also have this particular move there, and if you also take a closer look, there is a volume imbalance, but then we'll get to see that when we jump into our daily. So with this being the previous volume imbalance that had been dialed in. We do now have the current volume imbalance of price right here at open. So the opening price did leave us with another volume imbalance. So we should definitely make markings of that as well. So we do have another volume imbalance for the current week thus far. Then, like I said, this is going to be our external buy side liquidity. Would be looking to target at 25,868.50. When I see some delivery towards that CB there, do make markings as well of this particular down close candle right here. This down close candle, do make markings of that, as it should be a level of support that will be holding price up here. So that will be a daily order block. Would be looking into right there. So maybe a delivery to the downside, fill up that volume imbalance, hit that order block, then deliver it higher. So something of this nature, a open delivery down to the order block, hit that, then we deliver higher, or essentially a straight delivery to the buy side. Either way, I'll be ready for both. So we still have this to target. So also look at the element of that also being liquidity. So these are relative equal highs right there. So no, for our fair value gap is it that was delivered into, that was the one that took price higher last week that I spoke about, where the low of the week will be painted. This was the one that delivered there on Monday, came in, hit it. Then obviously, like I said, it will inverse this fair value gap here, which it did, then deliver to the upside, which was that target there previously there. We took that, then we created a new high right there. So we'll be looking into essentially delivery for that pricing right there. And also take into account, we do also have yet again some volume imbalance right there. We do have volume imbalance that hasn't been dealt right there. So this just stems on my further bias of us continuing towards more buy side or more delivery to the upside, because we have external liquidity right there, previous weekly high. We have the CB, we have a volume imbalance right there. So that would be my premises of more higher delivery. All right, let's see what we have on 4-hour chart here. 4-hour chart here, we have these relative equal highs as well. So we still do have more buy side liquidity right there at 25,893.50. So right there, and so these are relative equal highs. So we do have relative equal highs, which we can just somehow point out right here and there. So market is currently open, so we do currently have market open. So like I said, I'd be looking into them, digging in deeper towards that Sunday opening price, with that volume balance lingering right there. I'd love to see a delivery towards that, then probably hitting that daily OB then would start looking for price movements towards the upside. If they can keep this low intact, then structure will continue then being to the upside. However, if they do deliver and sweep that low right there, which is some sell side liquidity, then I'd expect them to then look into these relative equal lows right there. However, bias will only be flipped once they break through this here. Then we could probably look into targeting all of that in there, right? The relative equal lows, once only they flipped through all of that, so it looks much more cleaner even on the hourly chart. So we do have fair value gap here, so we will see how this fair value gap gets treated, if they use it as an inversion or if it holds, then gives us our delivery towards the upside as well. So yeah, those are my primary targets for this particular week. These will be my primary targets for this week. I want to see price deliver into that buy side day of 25,868 and 25,993. Want to see delivery also towards that volume imbalance in there. Then I'll start looking into potential shorts. If these lows will still be intact, then I'll start looking for potential shorts somewhere within this area to the come for these particular lows right there, and there. So that's how essentially I'll be viewing the whole week and how my play will be coming through for the whole week. So with that being said, ladies and gents, thank you so much for your time. Let's have a productive and successful week, and definitely smash the numbers we need to do. Go in there and let's kill it, man. Nothing more to say. It looks quite clear as daylight what the outlook is standing by. Yeah, so from here on my side, thank you for watching. Take care and enjoy.